Good morning. This is day 7 of my stem cell transplant. So day 7 from day 0, if you remember all of that. And I'm reporting on days 4, 5 and 6 because I haven't really been able to do this over those days, either because I haven't had the time available or because I have been too unwell. So I'll talk you through each day. So on day 4, my sickness started, and also diarrhea, and the mouth ulceration was progressively getting worse. So eating anything was difficult, holding anything down, including medication, was difficult. And it was just going round to the hospital every day to now get fluids as well as getting all my observations done and my bloods done, which is a regular thing on each day anyway. So that was day 4, and not really much happened there. Day 5, I suppose, was the turning point. I tried to make myself eat a meal, which I managed about a third of. Steak and ale pie with some mashed potato and some veg. About 6 hours after that, that's when my biggest sort of vomiting exercise happened, and after that point I had not been able to keep anything down. So that was day 5, and the diarrhea was there as well. Mouth ulcerations, I hate me say that. When I wash my mouth out now, there's blood comes out, so all of the tissue in there is actually very raw or not there at all, and that's just this morning, so that's day 7. And the reason I'm unshaven, unclean if you like, I'm glad my wife isn't here, is because I'm attached to a drip all the time, so I can't really have a shower, but they're going to detach me from this in the next 20 minutes, and they've got me some towels and I'm going to be able to freshen up, so that's a plus. So that was day 5. On day, hold on a second. So on day 5, on day 6, I was transferred across. I beg your pardon. On day 5, at the end of day 5, at 6 o'clock in the evening, I was transferred across to this unit here, and I spent all day yesterday here. Yesterday was the first day that I wasn't sick, so what I started to do was take me out of my anti-sickness tablets 15 minutes before I took the rest of my tablets, because I was actually bringing up just my medication as well. So prior to them doing all of my medication IV, I started doing it that way around, and that worked from yesterday morning. So yesterday was my first vomit-free day for about 3 days, which is nice, and I managed to have breakfast, which was Rice Krispies, which you've got to wait until it goes soft, because otherwise anything you put in your mouth that's dry, it'll just suck all of the moisture that is there, and there's not very much anyway, and it just makes it so uncomfortable. So you just wait until they go soft, really, and start eating them with the milk. And the cold milk went down, and then I waited, and nothing happened, which was great. I got a lot of stomach cramps because it was the introduction of the first semi-solids, if you like, into the system, and that unnerves you, because you think what I had before was stomach cramps, and then I was sick, and you've just got to go with it. You just got to keep trying, and eventually you get over the hump, I suppose, over the hill, and turn a corner. I don't know whatever you want to say, and you start to keep things down. So, accompanying all of this, and the reason why they put you in a room which is where you buy yourself a side room, if you like, with an ensuite, pretty top-notch accommodation, really, if you think about it. Is because you become neutropenic, and your neutrophils are one of the things that defend your body against infection. So what they are on the lookout for is your hemoglobin levels, your neutrophils, your platelets, all of your white blood cell sort of arrangements, and generally what happens is they go down. Now, if you imagine, the last time I had a stem cell transplant, I was out in 15 days. I'm on day 7 now, which means I've been here 8 days. 8 days or 9, I can't remember. It's 8, I think it's 9 actually. I'm halfway through that, and that's if all goes according to plan and I get out as quickly as I want to. I'm pretty much halfway through now. Halfway through, you would expect to be almost at your worst, I would say. And what you're trying to do now is watch for everything to start and pick up. Your stem cells that you had on day 0 start to graft on immediately. It's called an autograft, and an autologous stem cell transplant is your stem cells from yourself that you harvested from yourself, and they give them back to you, and then they start and graft on to whatever, I don't know, into your bone marrow, I don't know. But the melphalan the day before on -1 kills everything. Your stem cells that you introduced on day 0 start and graft on, and they're on the way up, whereas the melphalans, so they're going up, and the melphalan's got everything on the way down. Now, the stuff on the way up is slower than the stuff on the way down, so you hit a bottom or a base point. And that's when you become neutropenic. That's when you become a little bit more vulnerable, or very vulnerable, to infection, and all of this going on in your mouth. All of your tissue and soft tissue and mucus producing tissue is on its way out or dead, and that's why I've got such a raw mouth. I mean, this is worse than my first stem cell transplant, but what I've been told from my consultant, my professor in haematology down at UCLH, is that the melphalan is it's quite a drug. I mean, in the First World War, it was used in mustard gas. If you look it up, melphalan. So it's a watered down version of mustard gas that they're giving you. So it's quite toxic, and that introduced into your body for a second time has a little bit more of an effect. So you become so the side effects are a little bit greater than the first time. So I'm not enjoying this one as much as the last one, not at all. And you do start to pick up. So I think like I say, turned the corner yesterday, I think, and that's because I've been able to keep some foods down. So I feel a little bit better in myself. I feel a little bit better when I get this fungus off my face and have a shower, and then that's just feeling good in yourself. Now, on day 6, or when you're neutropenic, when your neutrophils are below 0.5, is when you're classified as neutropenic. You will get GCSF, which is what you recognise that, I don't know what it stands for, I did mean to look it up before I logged on. You get GCSF injections into your stomach, just in your fatty tissue. I've got plenty of that around your stomach, and that's to make your stem cells start and make your bone marrow start and produce more stem cells. So the stem cells that you've had back, they've grafted on, and by now they're starting to produce stem cells, so they can start and produce your neutrophils and produce your white blood cells and produce your hemoglobin and all of that. So those stem cells need to start and really mobilize a lot more. And that's why they give you GCSF. They give you the first GCSF when you are neutropenic, so that's usually on day 6 or 7. Because I was neutropenic on day 6 yesterday, I got my first GCSF injection yesterday. And that means that it will start and make my bone marrow work again. And I don't think it's the same volume or same, the level of GCSF, I don't think it's the same. I'll try and find out level that you get when you go for harvesting, because that does cause quite a lot of bone pain in people. I mean, as if you don't have enough bone pain with multiple myeloma, if you imagine they're trying to make your bone marrow work harder, it actually expands the bone marrow, and it's pushing more stem cells into your bloodstream through your bone, and it makes it swell slightly. And if you've got any fractures or anything like that, it can cause quite a lot of pain. Now, I don't remember from the last stem cell transplant that I did have any bone pain at all. Maybe there's a little bit of few aches and pains here and there, but nothing to what you have when you're harvesting stem cells. So I'll ask So when I log on tomorrow or the day after, I'll be able to tell you. And I think that's enough for today. That's 10 minutes I've just looked at that I've wasted of your time. So thank you, and I'll speak to you again. Cheers. Bye bye.